Welcome back to the Comic Book Bullies with Nerds New Bully. Me host Leroy, aka Nutbush City, with my co-host.
Damn, nice pull. Yeah, this is Eli, aka Chewbacca Chips Ahoy.
There we go. I caught the reference that time. Yeah, and we're back with the episode, and want to say this episode is not sponsored by Cracker Barrel. It sounds racist, but you really don't know the who. So that's all I want to do. I just want to put that part in.
I've never eaten in one.
Really?
No.
I've eaten that, but I'm like, why are we eating here? Yeah. That's just me. Anyway, I'm only talking about because they moved it out of Jackson. I'm like, okay, bye. We don't.
Well, yeah, the only reason why I never ate there because I know there's some here in the Twin Cities, but they're like way out. Some places like I ain't go way out there.
I'm not gonna lie, they got good pancakes.
So, oh, they got pancakes? I thought it was pancakes. Like a Perkins or something.
I don't know what that is, but yeah,
Perkins? I guess. Or like a Denny's.
Okay, we got Denny's. I don't know what a Perkins is.
That's like Denny's.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Or an IHOP.
Well, there you go. Speak my language. Speak Southern language. Yeah. All right. Yeah. And we're back with the episode. We're just going to jump into it. And we actually got a full show, even though nothing happened, but a lot happened. And then how it always goes.
Yeah. So, when we got nothing to talk about, we go on for 3 hours.
Yeah. So let's bunker down and just get into it. So the first thing we're going to do is say rest in peace to our guy, Ray Stevenson. Now, here's the thing. Now, if you're not familiar with, if you've never heard this show before, like Comic Book Bullies and stuff we talk about on the show, you probably know who this guy is. But if you fool with this show and you're in our area and you're orbit around our area, you know who Ray Stevenson is. Waffle House for the win. Waffle House for the win. Exactly. Because if you don't, they will beat your ass. So, so yeah, that's the thing about Ray Stevenson. If you know Ray Stevenson and you're familiar with all the stuff that we talk about, Ray Stevenson is our guy. Like I said, one of the things we got to talk about Ray Stevenson is that movie RRR.
Yes,
he was the bad guy in that one. The movie that we talked about was number one on both of our lists of 2022. He was the main bad guy of that one. So for no reason whatsoever, watch RRR for that.
Yeah,
you know. Also,
he's been in a lot of shit. Yeah.
He's actually been in a lot of shit. If you go back and look at it, we're not going to list his whole filmography and stuff like that. But it's his IMDb page goes deep, and we're just going to hit his greatest hits. One thing, his most famous role to me, his most iconic role is the Punisher.
Yep.
Punisher Warzone. Don't let anybody fool you. This movie is fucking awesome. I know everybody like to talk shit about the movie. No, this movie is awesome. He is the best Punisher. This movie is awesome. And the funny thing about it, it was actually produced by Marvel Studios. Yep. So technically, this is an MCU movie.
And it was like a lot of fan input, like because Lexi Alexander, the director, she never read any comics. So she went into, this is before like, you know, social media was big, but she went into like the comic book forums, like Punisher fans, and asked a lot of feedback, like, you know, with the fans. So a lot of fans had input on what they wanted to see in a Punisher movie. That's what Warzone is. Yeah, and yes, so, he's my favorite Punisher. He also did the voice in what was that cartoon? Superhero Squad. He's Ray Stevenson. He did the voice for the Punisher in the Superhero Squad. Yeah.
Now, I never picked you for somebody to watch Superhero Squad.
I've seen clips of it.
I've seen every episode, but still, Warzone the best one. Warzone is the best Punisher movie. People like to have discourse on it. There is no discourse. Daisy best one. Period. Just full stop. What else we got? Let's hit some other greatest hits of his. Also, he was Volstagg the Voluptuous. I'm sorry, Volstagg the Voluminous. That's what they call him in the comics. But it really don't sound better no matter how you say it.
He was pretty voluptuous though.
Yeah, he was voluptuous in that, but yeah. Oh, and Eli, I'm gonna leave this up to you. He's also going to be in Ahsoka. Okay, I just know he's going to be in a Star Wars thing, but I don't know what because like 20 of them coming out, so I don't know.
That's all I know is he was recently in the Ahsoka show that's coming out like this summer. He's they've already filmed it; it's already done. Yeah, so, he's playing some kind of Sith guy. So I mean, it's sad that
red lightsaber. So we know what that means: evil.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he's a bad guy. Well, he always played good bad guys. Yeah, and the Punisher, the Punisher's not really a good guy. He's just a badass.
He's an anti-hero.
Yeah,
that's what
he's
Punisher
just a badass.
Yeah. So that's his whole thing. And matter of fact, I was just watching the other guys of the day. You know that Will Ferrell.
That's right.
He was in that. just popped up. I'm like, the fuck, Ray Stevenson, this movie, like, and that's the thing. Like, you'll just watch random ass movies and he just shows up. He just in them, like, you know, like, wow. So yeah, like I said, awesome dude. It was sad to hear about it. 58, way too young. So yeah.
Good journey, kind sir.
Yeah, I want to say rest in peace. So yeah. All right. So next one, Eli, and I was gonna spend more time on Ray Stevenson, but this next one hit me. I gotta dig into this one. I gotta dig a little bit into this. We're gonna talk about rest in peace to Tina Turner.
Go for it, man. Yeah, this was a big one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for it. Like I said, Tina Turner is a legend. Let's no short term. She is a legend because I want to show the first thing that I noticed anything about Tina Turner. First thing when she ever popped up was, boom, that. Didn't know what she was. Didn't know who she was, where she came from. I just know that it was for people, for Jake or anybody else too young to know what this is. This is Tina Turner in the role of Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. I had no idea what a Mad Max was or a Thunderdome was. Be honest with you, I still don't know what a Thunderdome is. That movie was too fucking weird for me, but she was awesome.
I was a fan and I was looking forward to Beyond Thunderdome.
Okay. Like I said, didn't know what it was. It was awesome. And I kind of got mad at the movie because the trailers just showed her the whole time. So I want to watch the movie for the first time. Like, where's that lady they posted? Why do they keep showing this white dude in the Thunderdome about her? Like, nope, it wasn't. So that's cool. But, you know, like I said, around the time, if you grew up in the 80s, Tina Turner was, matter of fact, if you grew up at any time that Tina Turner was popular, because I didn't know she had a second, like the 80s was like her resurgence, her rebirth, her second career. I didn't know anything about that. I just thought she just popped up on the scene and that was it. Because, like I said, for those that went,
she had those hits in the 80s. That's when I first heard of her. And then when I learned that, she had been around for like before I was born.
Yeah, had no idea. Like I said, for those, and we all know the story now because it's been well documented. Like I said, she was part of the group Ike and Tina Turner, you know, and the Ikeettes. Eli, can I say something good about Ike Turner? I know
he wrote good music.
I know it's about to be fucked up. I know you're like, where's he going with this? Make sure it's DIJ. What's going on?
Do I got to do this again?
No, maybe. Let me at least say it first, and then you be like, All right. So the reason I'm gonna say something good about Ike Turner this one time, I'm gonna say one good thing about Ike Turner is that Ike Turner is one of the originators of rock and roll. Like, he was there on the ground level with Little Rich and all those guys like that. He was there. He was on the ground level. So that sound that was developing, he helped develop that sound. Like I said, and Tina Turner.
He was using distortion, like Nutbush City.
For those who didn't get the reference, think I was being, that was a Tina.
That was a song, yeah. So, and he used he used
I'm about to get canceled. Ike Turner was right. No, I'm not doing that. So,
that had like a distorted guitar, like an amp, like an electric distortion, like what?
Yes,
it
was
what we associate with metal and rock.
Right. That's kind of where I was getting with that, because let's go back to like Motown at time right there. Like, let's look at some of the artists they had back then. Like, you had the Temptations, you had the Supremes. Now, if you notice something about those artists, they were like very prim and proper, very groomed. They had choreographed dances. Everything felt like rehearsed. It was like very, very on point. Meanwhile, Ike and Tina, or Tina Turner's, whole band, they really weren't like that. Tina Turner had no vocal training. She had no choreographer. Her routine was more like raw. She went on stage, whatever she felt, that's what she did. So she wasn't very choreographed like everybody else. When she went up there, she went on stage. Whatever she did, you felt it. You felt what she was doing on stage. Completely different from anybody else of that era. So that's one of the things that she brought to rock and roll. Like I said, helped invent rock and roll, and she kind of carried on that. She came up through rock and roll. Meanwhile, we come back to the 80s. Like I said, she went the whole thing where Ike Turner, Ike got divorced. She actually became an even bigger star after she left Ike, which nobody expected her to do. Like, look at this. This was her crowds in the 80s. Like, she was a black woman in her 40s doing Mick Jagger numbers. Who does that?
Yeah.
Right. Nobody does that, So, like I said, we got to give her props. We got to put it out there.
And then I heard, just on a comic book note, I heard that her look was inspired by Sheena Comics. Sheena, Queen of the Jungle.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that, because Ike gave her the name, because her name was Anime Bullet, and he looked at a Sheena comic. He was like, Sheena, Tina rhymes with Turner, because he wanted to have alliteration with it to make the name stick out. That's why he did that. So yes, you're right. And because she was like, Sheena was like a wild woman, you know, like that, she wanted to like really tap into that. So yeah. Also want to talk about, like I said, we already know about the movie that pretty much put Angela Bassett on the map. What's love got to do with it? Which she did not win the Oscar for this role. What the fuck? Guess who won the Oscar that year, Eli?
Meryl Streep. I don't know.
That good guess. No, Holly Hunter for The Pianist. That's who beat this role. So yeah, okay, but we can go with that. But another standout role from them that nobody will talk about. Can I say something else good about Ike Turner?
He had nice hair.
I just want to say that Lawrence Fishburne was also just as good in that role. Lawrence Fishburne was so good in this role. Black people hated him for years.
Oh yeah, I wanted to beat his ass.
Right, that's the thing. We didn't fuck with Lawrence Fishburne to The Matrix. We were like, we don't fuck with him. He had to earn our respect on that. So
that limo scene when she whoops his ass at the end.
Oh, like man, like you can't look at him like you are too into this role, man. It makes me wonder about you. You know. Oh man. And the last thing I want to say about Tina Turner, like I said, we got to talk about her legacy, everything she carried on like this. Without Tina Turner, you don't get Beyonce. I'm straight up telling you, when Beyonce first came out on the scene, when she first started doing her thing, she was straight up ripping off Tina Turner. And she was unapologetic about it too. She's like, no, I'm just doing Tina Turner. All her moves, all her, like that whole stage presence, everything like she was doing it. So when she finally got on stage with Tina Turner, that was like her happiest moment, because she was basically on stage with her idol. So like you can see her influence bleeding into other people. So yeah. So yeah, like I said, I had to spend a little bit more time on Tina Turner because, like I said, she is a legend.
And her, and I'm, you know me, I'm into metal and shit, but even I liked her stuff. I mean,
that's what I'm saying, because like I said, I gotta say something else good about Ike Turner. He started rock and roll. Okay, so rock and roll, they got taken away from us. It got taken away from us. However, in the 80s, that's how Tina Turner did her thing. She was on stage with Mick Jagger and Rod Stewart and all the people that was claiming rock and roll at the time, you know, the Rolling Stones. She was in there. She was taking rock and roll back. So that's another thing we got to give her credit for also. So,
and that song from Beyond Thunderdome, one of the living. No, not that one. The other one.
Come on, that's my shit though, man.
No, the other song is my shit. One of the living, where she plays guitar and it's got that jen. That song, I still rock that shit like all the time. That's like on my playlist. Like I'm always bumping that. And it's got the saxophone player from
Sexy Saxophone dude from Lost Boys.
Yep, he plays on that song.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh, last thing I gotta say about Tina Turner. Now, like I said, you know me, Eli. You know I'm a big James Bond fan. She did a James Bond song.
That's right.
Which one? Which one did she do?
Was it GoldenEye?
It was GoldenEye.
Yeah, it was GoldenEye.
Everybody's favorite James Bond movie that they haven't seen.
I saw GoldenEye in the theater. So
okay, you saw GoldenEye.
And we had the game on 64. So
that's what I'm saying. Everybody's like default answer for favorite James Bond movie is GoldenEye, even though nobody's seen it. You saw it, but most people haven't seen it. They just say, "Well, I played the video game," but not the same thing. However,
that was Pierce Brosnan's first.
It was his first one, yeah. But that song, that soundtrack, that shit slapped. I like that shit. So
I liked the one with Michelle Yeoh better.
With Sheryl Crow?
No, not the song.
Oh,
talking about the movie.
Yeah. I'm like, the fuck? What, like you like Katy Perry next to her? I don't even know you. Like you a scroll or some shit? I don't know. Oh yeah. All right. So yeah, we went a little bit too long on Tina Turner, but we had to pay our respect. So yeah. So
yeah, she a good journey.
That's the best James Bond right there. That's debatable. That's debatable. One day I would put out a list, but we're not gonna do it right now. So yeah, rest in peace to Tina Turner. So where we're gonna go from there? Okay. Now I got to bring the show down. Cause sorry everybody. Don't click off. Don't click off. I got to talk about this. We're gonna talk about the Flash season finale. I know anytime I talk CW, that's it. It's a wrap. Everybody just out of here. Oh, Leroy, I'll see you tomorrow, man. I got work in the morning. You know. No. We're just gonna briefly talk about it. Like I said,
Leroy putting in the good fight.
Right. So everybody has that same joke. Leroy, you still watch the CW? You still watch the Flash? Okay. The joke is dead now because the Flash is over. So no, I don't watch the Flash anymore because there's no Flash left to watch. Not only is the Flash gone, there's no more Arrowverse. The Arrowverse is done. Does
Superman and Lois count?
Not in the Arrowverse. They've already established it's not. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's separate. That Gotham Knights shit like that, not in the Arrowverse. Separate. So yeah. So this whole continuity they have right here, it's done. That's it. Flash was the last thing they had in there. So just want to hit some high beats on there. What
did he have a crisis?
What in last season?
This one?
I'm gonna tell you what happened in the last show. It's super simple. It's not a big thing or anything like that. Every single bad guy he ever fought, like in the entire show, showed up at once and fought him. But here's the thing: everybody is so overpowered on his team right now. Everybody was beaten in 5 minutes. So it's like, what was the point of that? So okay. Oh, and Nora was born. You know, his daughter that actually showed up like 5 seasons ago, that was running around with him. Now she's actually born in the present. So yeah, and the grown Nora was holding herself, and then somebody just casually brought up like, "Aren't you kind of destroying the timeline, holding yourself as a baby?" Like maybe, I don't know, like fuck it, just go, whatever. So all right, who we got here? The viewer demand more CW show. No, you don't. The algorithm says that is a lie, Jake.
The Superman and Lois is awesome.
Superman and Lois is awesome. Like I said, it doesn't count. We don't even count that. So yeah. So Eli, since this is the last time we're going to talk about the Arrowverse, since the Arrowverse is done and we had no more discussion about it, can I list my top from best to worst Arrowverse shows?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Because once it's done, that's it. I'm not talking about any of this Arrow shit ever again. You know. So this is. So I'm gonna start from the bottom.
Not even how hot Iris was.
I mean, we should talk about that, but I mean, you know, I might do a good morning to Iris and that's it, you know, but that's about it. Oh yeah. So, like I said, the worst. We'll start from the worst to the best. So the worst show of the CW, just of the Arrowverse shows, Batwoman. Now, reason it's the worst is it's kind of obvious why it's the worst. You know, first off, they didn't even know what Batwoman they wanted to choose, so they had to narrow that shit down first. It lasted the least amount of seasons. Kind of a terrible show. So yeah.
I gave it like 3 or 4 episodes before.
The guy who played Flash was awesome. Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah.
I wish he was. Yeah.
Austin, or was it
Grant Gustin? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like him. I mean, he's a better Flash than the guy they playing Flash in the movie. So that's messed up on them. All right, like I said, got the worst one. What's the second worst? Second worst is Supergirl.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, I did not like this show, but I like her.
I did. I watched Supergirl for a while. I did get down with Supergirl.
Couldn't get into it. But the reason it's not worse than Batwoman because I like her as an actress, just as what she brought. I like her energy just like that. So I thought she's pretty cool. So yeah.
No, I watched multiple seasons of
Supergirl.
Supergirl.
Couldn't do it. I'm sorry. Couldn't do it. All right. So next one after that is Black Lightning.
Oh
yes, Black Lightning is part of CW.
That was part of the Arrowverse.
It's part of the Arrowverse. Yeah, he was in Crisis.
I don't remember, man.
Okay, never mind. Okay, he was there. But anyway, like I said, the first season of Black Lightning was pretty awesome. I liked it, but then it went weird. I don't know what basically after they beat Tobias Well, the head gangster, it's like they really didn't know what else to do with the show, and they just kept starting doing weird shit. So it's like, okay, yeah, you can just use it in this shit now. So yeah, that's it. Next one after that. The Flash. Okay. Now, the reason I'm putting the Flash there is because if we would just condense the Flash like the first 2, 3, maybe 4 first seasons, it would be obviously the best one on this road.
The first season was fucking gold.
Yes, the first season was. Everybody was talking about it. Twitter wasn't even a thing yet, but it had Twitter buzzing just because of the discussions we were having on it. Like everybody was into it. But the thing was, it didn't last 4 seasons or 3 seasons. It lasted 9 seasons. Because once it hit that 5th season, they gave no more fucks whatsoever. That show just went to
about when I stopped watching too. Yeah.
It went to complete shit. You can tell, like, I've seen every episode of The Flash, all 9 seasons, and you can tell they wanted the show to end. They didn't want to be there anymore. And the show just kept ending because it was CW's highest rated show, so they couldn't cancel it because it's the only thing people are watching, even though they don't want to be there.
Keeping the lights on.
Right. So it's just like they have no choice. Like, let us die. Please let us die. No, you can't. Oh yeah. So that's my thing about that. So we got to take the entire show into consideration. That's why the Flash is there. Number 2, Legends of Tomorrow. I love this fucking show. I don't
Over
give a
the
fuck what
Flash,
nobody
huh?
says. Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah, over the Flash. Like easily over the Flash. Yeah. Because the thing was about Legends of Tomorrow, the thing I love about this show is that this show gave no fucks. They were batshit bonkers crazies with the plots on this show. It was like super creative with the shit they were doing, super campy. They didn't give a fuck. It was funny. It was hilarious. And every now and then they kind of just dress up as superheroes, kind of remind you that it was a superhero show. But honestly, they didn't really give a fuck if it was a superhero show. They were just having fun. It was like a crazy ass Doctor Who type show. And they just did anything they wanted to do. Like WandaVision, I'm pretty sure WandaVision stole their plot from this show. Because they like one of the seasons, like the bad guy trapped all of them in TV shows, and like one of them was trapped in Friends, one was trapped in like Star Trek, one of them was trapped in other shit like that, and they had to find their way out of it. So yes,
I didn't see that one. I did watch like the first season, and I
first season was the worst season.
But was it like before BVS came out? Didn't they have parademons on that show?
Probably. I can't remember.
I think so.
That's the thing. See, the first season,
a version of parademons, and I remember really going, "Hey!"
Yeah, it probably something like, I don't think it was parademons, but it was something similar to that.
Similar
like
to them, yeah.
Not parademons. But the thing is with Legends of Tomorrow is that the first season didn't know what it wanted to be. Like, do we want to be Avengers? Do we want to be Defenders? And then later on, it's like, no, fuck all that. We don't care.
It was
do
like
our own thing.
Doctor Who with like the X-Men or something.
That's what it was. Yeah. And then even like one of the crossovers, they straight up said the crossover, like, hey, Barry's on the phone. He want to do a crossover. We're like, nah, we won't do it this year. That's it. They like said that shit on the show. So
but no, I remember you telling me about the George Lucas episode, and I went and watched
that shit was hilarious, man. I don't give a fuck. It was hilarious because the bad guys saw George Lucas and tried to kill him just to stop him from making Star Wars. I like, fuck it, this show is insane. So number 1 for me, and probably for everybody else, I'm Arrow. Now, the reason Arrow is number 1 because out of all the shows, it is the most consistent. It's up and down. Don't get me wrong, it has some ups and downs on there because just like Flash was awesome, Arrow first 2 seasons were awesome too. Yeah. They were pretty good too. They dipped a little bit, came back up a little bit. They had some good shows on it. Fight Choreography was the best one. And plus, if I was to pick one show to recommend an Arrow show to like somebody else, I wouldn't recommend Legends of Tomorrow. It's too fucking wacky, especially when Constantine shows up.
You gotta kind of be into comics to
really get into this shit. It's too out there, so I can't recommend it.
Yeah.
But Arrow, I can remember, like if I was to recommend one show, I'd recommend Arrow.
It was basically Batman. It was
basically Batman. Yeah. So
and it had Ra's al Ghul, it had Deathstroke and all that.
Solomon Grundy showed up out of nowhere for no reason.
Yeah. Killer Shark was it? No, that was a Flash. Was the Flash on when Killer Shark or King Shark?
Yeah. Did you see the show when Gorilla Grodd and King Shark fought each other on Flash?
I think so. That was Gorilla Grodd was on the Flash. Yeah.
Yeah, they both was on Flash. So So that's it. Like I said, I got it out of my system. Arrowverse is done. I named all my favorite shows and my worst favorite shows out of there. So yeah, that's it. Can we move on to the next part of the podcast?
Sure.
Okay. I know everybody left. They're like, oh, this Arrow shit. Let me get the fuck out of here. Jake, don't leave us. All right. So what do we got here? I think it's back on you. Yeah. No, it's not back on you, but I'm gonna leave it on you. So what you got for me?
Am I doing American?
Because you had now? Yeah. No. Okay. Something you were gonna talk about. That thing you were gonna talk about?
American Born Chinese?
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. I gotta figure out how to do this again.
Okay. I'll give you time.
The ticker. Okay, here we go. Show. Boom. American Born Chinese.
Okay.
So so Disney Plus, American Born Chinese. How do I do the banner again? Or the back?
You did. It's there. Oh, you talking the back part?
No, the back. Is it the brand? The brand. That's what it is.
Brand, yeah.
Okay, here we go. Booyah.
Oh, look at you.
Look at that. Look at me doing stuff. And I'll even bring up the image just for the hell of it. So, I watched the season 1.
Oh, shit, you're getting fancy. Like, okay.
Yeah, season 1 of American Born Chinese. Now, I did not know that this was based on a comic book. until
why
it
didn't
popped.
you tell me that?
Yeah, it popped up on my Comixology feed, like
Are you serious, bro?
yeah, suit free. The comic was free on Comixology, and then I saw who wrote it, Gene Yun Lang.
Oh, that guy.
Or
Okay,
Gene Lun Yang. Is it?
he did Shang-Chi, right?
Yep. And I was like,
Yep.
hey,
Okay.
I loved his Shang-Chi run. We loved his Shang-Chi run.
We did. And if you read it out there, you will love it too. Nobody talks about it, but it was awesome. It really is.
I was like, well, shit, let me check this book out. And he wrote the comic.
Now, how old is the comic?
Like mid 2000s. It came out a while ago.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And the comic, it was awesome. I read it in one sitting, and it's a coming of age story. I think it's probably semi-autobiographical.
Oh, who's the publisher?
I don't remember.
Okay. All right.
But it was you could tell that it was meant for kids or young adults,
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a comic story about this kid growing up Chinese in America, and him trying to fit in, but then he weaves in like Chinese folklore. He weaves in the story of
which
the monkey.
He was doing in Shang-Chi.
Yes.
Yeah.
He weaved in the story of the Monkey King, and then there's also this like really bad sitcom, like TV sitcom, like racist sitcom called Cousin Chinky, and he just embodied that really negative Chinese stereotype and spoke in that broken English, and it was like super like racist. But it incorporates all that into this kid's main plot of this kid growing up, going to high school, trying to fit in, and him struggling with his history and his culture. And that's basically what the story is about. It's him kind of embracing his culture and his history, and accepting who he is. And that, and you're not that negative state. Even though that those racist stereotypes are like prominent in American culture,
mm-hmm.
You don't have to be that. You know what I mean? You're more than that, and it's just about him
embracing
who he is.
Shit, right there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. I love the comic. Very well written. His use of visuals was like the way he used panels and just imagery, and not like shoving a bunch of words. You know what I mean? It was very minimalistic. So I thought it was really just as a comic book, and just his use of panels and images was just, I thought it was awesome. I like I said, I read it in one sitting. I loved the fucking comic. TV show.
I felt the butt coming. Okay.
The TV show was okay.
Oh shit. Okay.
Here's the thing. It's not that it's bad. It's just a little CW-y. It's a little fluffy. It's a little, it's meant for a younger audience. However, the fight scenes are dope. Now, some of these episodes are directed by the guy who directed Shang-Chi.
That's what I heard. Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
And you got Michelle Yeoh. You got Ke Huy Quan. You got everybody from everywhere, all at once. That movie, everything. That movie. They're all in this.
Okay.
And the TV show is more of a superhero story. It's more about him, this kid who befriends these mythical beings from Chinese folklore, and they got to save the world and do he's the chosen one, the prophecy. It's more of that traditional fantasy story arc, so whereas the book is more about just a coming of age story, and it's more about self-identity and accepting who you are. There is elements of that in the TV show, but it's more of a straight up hero's tale, So yeah, I mean, it was fun. Like when the fight scenes were great. The choreography was great. Michelle Yeoh, it's always a pleasure to see her whoop some ass. And yeah, everyone did fine. And they had like the Monkey King characters. They did have satire. They did have a version of that sitcom on this show. Not as heavily racist as it was in the comic, but they have a version of that. But it's still, the TV show did capture that the theme of the book of accepting your culture,
Accept who
accepting
you
your
are.
history.
Right.
Yeah. It did have that. He does accept his culture and his history and does, comes to terms with that, him being, trying to fit into that Americana life. He wants to be a part of the soccer team and get the girlfriend and, that Peter Parker motif. Only he's not white. He's from a different culture. He's not part of the dominant culture, and he's trying to fit into that and how he, balances that. So that's what the foundation, that's what the main theme of even the comic and the show does touch on that. And so in the end, it does have that same sort of idea, of accepting who you are, accepting your culture, and, balancing that in this, this Americanized society we live in, So yeah, I mean, it did kind of leave a cliffhanger where like there might be a season 2.
Okay.
But for the most part, I did dig the show.
But did the first season take up all the space of the first book, or?
Pretty much, yeah. It really differs from the book. Like I said, the book is more about the coming of age story of him just sort of, navigating high school life and him sort of just accepting who he is, and all those stories, like the story with the Monkey King and that racist TV show intertwines, and it all kind of connects at the end. And sort of like, this is, who you are. You have this, you come from a line of this rich culture, this rich history, and you live in this society now that sort of pushes these negative stereotypes. So you got to learn to get rid of that negative, stereotype and embrace who you are, and then exist in this Americanized culture, and that's kind of the point of the book. This sort of, the TV show kind of like says, oh yeah, something happens to one of the characters. You're like, oh shit, we got to find out what happens, So maybe there's going to be a season 2. Maybe it gets renewed. I don't know yet. But I did dig it up. It did, like I said, it did just enough to keep me interested. And yeah, every episode was like a half hour long. It's like 8 episodes. So it was pretty quick.
Okay, so that's not bad. That's not bad. Okay.
Yeah. And like every episode had a pretty cool fight scene, a pretty cool choreographed, mixing in that wuxia Hong Kong action, wire work, So, and cool special effects. They're flying around and, all that shit you saw in Shang-Chi, you see him doing that shit. So,
all right.
Yeah,
you sold me. You sold me.
Yeah.
You sold me on it. I'm going to check it out. On the TV show, Annabelle, because I think you kind of underselling the TV show, but I'm gonna check.
Dude, if you watch every Flash, fucking, I'm sure you can.
Batwoman is my favorite show.
Yeah, 8 episodes of American Born Chinese ain't gonna kill you.
Hey, one of my favorite parts about Shang-Chi, which I didn't catch at first, when that guy, was speaking Chinese, and they're like, "We understand." He was like, "Oh, that's cool. I know my ABCs," and that's basically what he meant. I thought he was just saying ABC, but he was actually saying American Born Chinese. So, it was like some inside shit that we don't catch, but people from the culture will catch.
Yeah, yeah, and that's always cool. It's like Asian characters, Asian, you can tell that there was. Yeah, there's things that I'm sure the Asian community would pick up on that outsiders aren't, So, yeah. So if
kind of like when I watched Dungeons
if that
and
makes
Dragons,
it woke for all those pussies, then fuck them. But I thought it was.
It's kind of like when I watched Dungeons and Dragons this week, on Paramount Plus. I saw it, cool movie, but I can tell Gomer and them would catch way more shit going on than I would. I'm like, that's cool. What I'm saying
rolling the dice. Oh my god!
You're right. So, but that's cool. I understand it's deeper than what I'm watching, but that's no big deal. So yeah. All right. So
I'll give it a 4 out of 5. The TV show was pretty cool. It did, like I said, it did just enough to keep me interested. But the book was great as a piece of comic book art and storytelling. It's fucking awesome. So I highly recommend the book.
Here you go, Eli. The book was better.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, we are those guys. We are those guys. So yes.
Actually, in the graphic novel.
Right. It can't be a comic. It's the graphic novel. All right. So where we go with this? Okay. So next on me. Now we at the video game section. Now, actually, I want to spend a little bit more time on the video game section. What we're doing, but since we did fill up with a whole bunch of show already. I'm gonna speed through it. Now, PlayStation came out with this press conference this last week, and they dropped like a whole bunch of games on it just at one time. Just bam, just dropped in your lap. 98% of those games I give no fucks about, but there were two I cared about. One of them was, of course, Spider-Man. No, oh shit, we didn't talk about that.
We didn't talk
My
about
fault.
Halle Berry. Yeah,
we can't talk about Vidja Game Station. We got to go back. Let's back up. Hold up. I'm sorry. I'm losing. Wait, you're not talking about the Little Mermaid? No. What? Why the fuck would 240-year-old motherfuckers talk about Little Mermaid? What?
Like, what are we from, Geeks and Gamers? Look at
that. Right. I'm sorry. I know.
This is the worst piece of shit movie I've ever seen.
Here's the thing. I didn't give a fuck about the first Little Mermaid. I'm gonna fuck about this mermaid.
If everybody else loves it, good.
It's not that I don't hate it, love it. I don't care.
I'm a dude. Yeah. I ain't gonna watch that shit.
Right. This shit ain't for us, man. So everybody, all these motherfuckers having their opinions on this shit like that. Like, why? Why are y'all talking about this shit?
I'm too cis and straight to watch.
Right. I'm too middle for that shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll say it if you gotta say it. Oh shit. What we talking about? Anyway, let's back this up. Before we get to the video game section, we're gonna back this up and go to talk about Halle Berry. Yeah. Yeah.
That's why. Okay. Oh, that makes sense now.
You didn't even click on the thing.
I just saw Halle Berry. Oh, he wants to talk about Halle. Okay.
Yeah, this is why we talk about Halle Berry. The reason we talk about Halle Berry. Now, here's the thing about this podcast. Now, the one thing we don't do on this podcast is report on rumors, sites, and all this shit like that. Like, we're gonna list like the Fantastic Four been cast all black people. We don't do that shit here. No. We just facts. That's what we report. That's what we do. But we're not above starting our own rumors. So we will do that. So we're going to talk about Halle Berry for a second because, like I said, this is no speculation. This is just me speculating on my own. Nobody's starting this. I'm starting this myself. Halle Berry posted a picture on Instagram, and she posted a picture with white hair, with a cat. So why is she doing this? But here's the thing. Even though she posted this picture this week, for those in the know that Deadpool 3 starts shooting this week also.
Okay, that's
yeah. Okay. So she paints her hair white. Deadpool 3 starts shooting with Hugh Jackman starring in it. Like I said, if you put two and two together,
makes sense.
It makes sense. That's all I'm saying. It's not a rumor. It's just saying why is Halle doing that? Now, we do know that a lot of those ex people, like from the Fox team, most of them are still under contract. And I think all their contracts in 2025. That's why Marvel can't do X-Men movies right now, because they got to get those contracts out of the way first. However, those guys that are still under contract can still come back. That's how Professor X was in Doctor Strange, still in the contract. That's why they can't recast it right now. So they can't recast anybody till they get these guys out of here, but these guys still play the role. So if Halle Berry's still on the contract and they got Deadpool 3 coming out, I mean, if you put two together, it sounds like she's going to be in the movie. So that's all I want to say. Yeah, I'm just saying, if you see it, don't be shocked when you see
it. He'll walk.
It probably will be just she'll get killed off, and that's it. You know,
yeah. He'll walk by the room, and she's changing or something.
Hey, Storm,
put some clothes on, Storm.
Right.
Shut up,
or
Wade.
she sees Deadpool coming, and she runs to the next room, and she's like, "Oh shit, let me get away from Deadpool." So something simple like that. So yeah. So yeah. That being said, we'll next to the podcast. Now we can move on to the next part. Now we're going to talk about the video game section. We're going to talk about PlayStation because they dropped a whole bunch of video games that I didn't give a fuck about. However, they did drop two.
One of them they dropped. Share the link. You do that, I'll share the link.
Okay, cool. Because I've been sharing the link left and right, but it's cool. Like I said, Eli, if the signal goes bad, don't blame me. But I'm going to try something and hopefully it doesn't go bad. Cross your fingers, clutch your nuts, whatever you got to do. Let's hope this. All right, so like I said, Spider-Man 2 dropped, and they dropped a whole bunch of stuff. And what do we know from that? We're going to get out of that. Okay, so first thing they did is announce Black Suit Spider-Man, the symbiote. So we got that. It is in full effect. I am loving it. Give me all of that. He's got special moves. He's like Punisher Spider-Man, punching the hell out of everybody. Hold on, let's put us down here. I can't. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. So he's just doing all his crazy ass moves. His Venice symbiote. Miles is in it. Lizard, he fights like a boss fight. Leonard, this thing is like 12 minutes long, showing all over. And here's the thing, like, I do not have a PlayStation 5, but this makes me want to get one. I mean, just look at the graphics on it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and like I said, and you can actually switch between Peter and Miles in this one. So like if next mission, kind of like on Grand Theft Auto, so you switch to Miles. Miles got his electricity and symbiote power, electricity powers and invisibility powers, and that's Peter can do all this bullshit right here. So like I said, give it to me in my veins. I guess I'm going to be forced to get a PlayStation 5 because I have to have this. So yeah, this is the first game they sold me on that I gotta have. Now, that being said, what is the next game that they released on there that I give a fuck about? The next game they released on there is Metal Gear Solid Delta is what they released. Now, for those who don't know this about me, I think I said this on this podcast before, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater is my favorite game of all time. So
I've mentioned that. Yeah.
I have mentioned it before. Okay, just want to make sure that everybody's up to speed. Okay, so like I said, it's my favorite game of all time, and I was excited that Konami is remaking the game, kind of like all those Capcom games we were making, those Resident Evil games. They're making this one. However, there's an issue with this. My favorite game of all time is being remade by the worst video game company of all time, because Konami hasn't made a video game in like 5 years. They got out of the video games. All they make is like Pokemon cards now and shit. They don't give a fuck. But they see this, and I'm trying to wonder, is this a cash grab that you need money real quick, or are they putting heart into it? Alan Wake 2, I don't care about that. I'm glad you do, Jake, but yeah. So that's my thing about this. So it makes me worried how Metal Gear is going to come out. Are they just throwing switch together, or are they actually making a real game? So, but even with that, and plus I found out that even though they've been promoting it for the PS5, there's some rumors going around that it might be on like all platforms. So if you got an Xbox PC, you can still play it. So I don't got to get a PS5 for this. This Metal Gear, the Metal Gear remake. So yeah. And John Wick being developed. He said he wants it to be developed into a video game. We'll see how that goes. So yeah.
If it was like Max Payne or something.
Yeah. That's pretty much all John Wick is, just Max Payne. So yeah. Yeah, just make a Max Payne, just swap it with John Wick. There you go. That's the game. Yeah.
He does do a lot of hand-to-hand shit too.
Oh yeah, he does do that too. So yeah.
So it could be sort of like Batman, only he could shoot. You said you played that Gotham Knights game with Red
Hood. Yeah.
Red Hood. How was that? Like, was that? I thought it was going to be like the Arkham games.
It was nothing like the Arkham games. Okay. The same people didn't even make that game. It's like they got a whole different development team do that. So yeah.
But I could see like if it had that kind of combat style like the Arkham games, but you could
now the Red Hood is in the Arkham games. Like he's in one of like the DLCs, like one of the you can play as him, and that is John Wick-ish, where he's got combat and shooting and shit like that, So yeah, all that there. But here's what gives me hope. Let's say that Metal Gear Delta game sucks. That's okay, because Konami also said they're going to release the first 3 Metal Gear games on platforms. So basically, the same games we've already played is going to re-release them, because they
Snake Eater and that one.
Snake Eater Part 2, so because they took them off the platforms. You can't buy those games now. So if you try to, you can't even find them anymore. So they're basically going to re-release them, HD them up, and just put them out there. So even if that game sucks, I can still play the old shit. So I'm still good on that. So that's.
My name is Dave.
Oh, I remember that part. Yeah. All right, there we go. Can we move on to the next part of the podcast?
Sure.
Okay, like I said, it's Comic Book Bullies, where we talk about comic books. And Eli, I'm gonna let you go first and see what you got in the bag.
Okay, well, I guess I'll do. Well, since we're talking about, I guess we had. No, fuck it. I'll do Echo and Daredevil.
I knew you were gonna read this. I mean, you're contractually obligated.
I'm kind of obligated to. So this is Daredevil and Echo, #1.
Written by 1/3 of the Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah, written by him. This motherfucker already got a job. He's stealing the jobs from comic writer.
Let's get it started.
Yeah.
Let's get it started in here.
No, this is pretty cool.
What? Okay.
Yeah. Basically, I guess Echo is no longer the Phoenix. I don't know what happened. I didn't read any of that. I barely read
Basically,
anything.
Jason Aaron put all the toys back in the box before he left. That's all.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Took the Phoenix Force away from Echo. They refer to that like, hey, Daredevil was, hey, Echo, I heard you're not the Phoenix anymore. So basically, this is about
wait. Didn't Daredevil have powers too or some shit?
Well, he was
What's
like
his face run? Yeah,
that he had that. Yeah, the fist or whatever.
Yeah, that shit.
Him and Elektra.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fuck it. Who cares? Okay. Taboo is like, shh.
Yeah. So he's back in Hell Kitchen and all that. But it basically starts out like back in the 1800s. This is like a Gangs of New York mashup. Like back in the 1800s in Hell's Kitchen in New York, the 5 Points, one of Matt Murdock's like relatives back in the 1800s, it was a priest in a church in the 5 Points area. And he was part of the Dead Rabbits gang. I don't know if you ever seen Gangs of New York.
Yeah, I've seen it. Leonardo DiCaprio, Cameron Diaz, Billy the Butcher. What was the name?
Yeah,
okay.
Billy the Butcher. Yeah. Bill the Butcher.
Bill the Butcher, that's what they.
Yeah. So he's part of the Dead Rabbits gang, and they're fighting all the Bowery Boys and all that stuff. But it turns out there's like a killer killing people, taking a pound of their flesh. And they're kind of the gangs are kind of blaming on each other. But then some native like woman basically says that this evil has been around for a while. Kind of hints that the church was buried on something. So kind of hints on the Indian burial ground trope, but
it doesn't straight up say it.
It doesn't really say it. But then fast forward to present day, there's a killer going around. And Daredevil teams up with Echo to investigate. They find this little girl who's got it's kind of like Black Canary. She screams and like fucking breaks shit up, like her screams like can demolish buildings and shit. But she's deaf, so Echo is speaking to her, and they end up going to that old church that it's like way down in the underground and shit, and it's been built over because it's modern day New York now. And so they find this church, and they find like the staircase that goes down into the dungeons or whatever. And then some guy named the Demi-Goblin basically says, "Hi, I am here."
The Demi-Goblin, that's Spider-Man guy. But
just I am here to
he had a glider.
You meddling kids, and
But he had a glider?
Did he have a glider? Is his glider like a skeleton bat thing?
Some shit. Yeah, he rides on a glider, but it's always some weird shit. But
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
He's a Spider-Man guy. Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of where it ends. But for the most part, I thought this was pretty cool. The art was dope. I did like how it was like, that whole Gangs of New York thing going on between it was like kept flashing back into the past and the present and stuff. I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, it was kind of refreshing to get Daredevil back to the street level shit that he's
right instead of fighting dragons and shit.
And, big wild razzmatazz that Chip Zdarsky's been doing,
Right.
So it was cool just seeing him back on the streets, And same thing with Echo. She was just back.
Not Phoenix fighting.
Yeah.
Multi-dimension Dr. Dooms and shit. No, she just.
Yeah. They kind of take digs at each other's disabilities, like. It's like, no, I don't see it, Echo. No, I can't hear. No, I never heard of that. Matt, because I'm deaf. He's like, have you heard of the things? No, because I can't hear. So cool little funny moments like that. No, I dug on this. So surprisingly, I was a little iffy on it, but I'm always skeptical.
Right, as you should be.
So. But I dug on it. I'll give it a 4 out of 5. I think I'm on board at least for the next issue.
I was not expecting that. I was expecting you just shit on this book.
It was fine. Other than that Indian burial ground trope thing.
Yeah, which he did say it outright, so you can't really.
No, she just says this church is built on and basically it's a native woman. This is built on cursed ground. I'm like, oh shit, are we going there?
Yeah, we're
Now
really
it's
going there.
funny. I just wrote an article for a Tribe Called Geek, one of the sites I write for. I on the Evil Dead movie and how the original short film that Sam Raimi made, which is called Within the Woods, he made a short movie to raise funding to do the full-length feature of Evil Dead. But in that original movie, the cabin was built on an ancient Indian burial ground, and that's why the demons come, and they find arrowheads and all that shit. So I kind of explore the Indian burial ground trope, and how stupid it is.
Okay, yeah, somebody got to point it out. So
Yeah, so I won't go too deep in it. I'll post the article when it gets posted and stuff. But
cool,
yeah,
cool.
Other than that little thing, and it was just like a minor thing, and they didn't really go out and say it. This is built on cursed ground or whatever. I still thought this was pretty fun.
Cool. Okay. All right. So next book I'm going to do is City Boy. Eli, did you read this?
I didn't.
You
I
didn't?
read
Okay.
the concept, and I was like,
I thought the concept was interesting. I thought the concept was interesting. I'll put it like that.
Yeah.
Not original, just
even
interesting.
Even though it was free on DC, I could have read it, but
yeah. Let me get to it. Hopefully, cross your fingers, clutch your pearls. Hopefully, this doesn't go crazy like the last one did. Let's see. Yeah. Now the reason I read this is because the concept sounded interesting, but also familiar, and I want to see how close it was to the concept that I had heard about before. Basically, I'll get into it. We got to talk about this guy's power. City Boy basically has the powers of City. If that sounds familiar, we can go with it. If not, I'll kind of break it down when we go into it. Oh, and it's also like that line of
he can
like
power a city.
No. Not he powers a city. He gets powers from a city. He has city powers. So I'll explain it. And then the crazy thing, he's not the first superhero to have these powers.
So he's crowded and stinks.
Yeah, kind of. We'll break it down. Let's get into it. So let's go to City Boy number 1. Like I said, it's another one of those DC books, just like the Vigil, where they kind of like bringing in more diverse characters. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like that also. So it's not
written
just
by Greg Pak.
Written by Greg Pak. So basically, the book starts off as in Metropolis. The whole book is at Metropolis. He's with his mom. He sees his granddad, runs to his granddad, and soon as his mom sees granddad, she hops in a taxi and gets the fuck up out of there. So that's already a fucked up story right there. So he runs after her, and I don't know if his granddad runs after him or not, but anyway, we cut to him in present time. Bum is hitting him up. The police tell him to get the fuck up out of there, so they go running off somewhere. But he kind of knows, because of his city powers, he knows like where to find money and cash and all this shit like that. He knows where to find this stuff. So yeah. So because the city talks to him. And then so this guy just shows up. He's just like, oh yeah, I heard about that. You can find anything you want. So you're gonna find what I need you to do, because his name is Boss Chung, and he runs like basically the Chinatown part of Metropolis, which they got a name for it. I can't remember what the name is. They don't call it Chinatown. They call it something else. But yeah. And it basically, they get to his point. I'm gonna just cut to the point of it. How he got his powers, because he was in some kind of accident where this guy, this mad scientist, wanted to because he theorized that cities are their own organism, just like we're our own organism, like we're made up of cells and DNA and all this like that. Well, cities are made up of many of us, like we are the cells and we are the things that make a city alive and make a city die. So he feel like if he can tap into a city, he can, I don't know, do some shit. Anyway, but of course the experiment goes wrong. It turns out he took all the most powerful people in the city, like politicians and drug dealers and all the shit like that, they're thinking that they were going to tap into the city. But what happened was, since the boy back there we just happened to be there, the bomb just bypassed all them and just put all the powers into the boy. So now the boy has city powers. So what are city powers? So city powers are that he can talk to the city, then the city talks back to him. So if he needs to find something, the city can tell him where it is. If he's looking for somebody, the city can tell him where to go, things like that. So that's city power. And he can like go into the city and come out of the city and teleport different parts of the city and all this shit like that. So that's city powers. Yeah. So, and he doing, he just basically trying to get out of town since they're going to use his city powers to take over the city. So he's trying to get the hell out of here. And when they basically, I think they shoot that guy. Yeah, the other bomb, they shoot the other bomb. And he's like, okay, well, you asked for it. You want my city powers? Here's my city powers. And he like, yeah, slit his throat. That's what he did. He killed a bomb. So he unleashes all his city powers, whatever that means. Anyway, shit starts getting fucked up. Whatever he starts doing, like earthquakes start happening and shit because he's causing it through the city, you know, and he's about to fuck up everybody with his city powers. And while they're doing that, you see at the end, we get Ugly Mannheim. Yes, he is back. And Ugly Mannheim, of course, is in charge of Inner Gang. And if you know anything about Inner Gang and Ugly Mannheim, who their boss is Darkseid. Darkseid is, because Darkseid wants the city boy and his city powers for whatever. I guess the anti-life equation. I don't know, some shit. But that is the story. That's it. Now, the reason I picked up the story, not because of City Boy or City Powers, all this like that. He is a direct ripoff of another hero. Now, the Authority has a guy called Jack Hawksmoor, and he has city powers. He calls himself the City King, God of Cities. He talks to cities. Cities give him super strength. The bigger the city, the stronger and faster he gets.
Did they say it was like connected to Wildstorm?
I think he popped up in a Wildstorm comic, but like I said, they already have a city guy. So this, like, they're too close together. They're too close together. Because like I said, when the Authority movie come out, when David James gonna get that, Jack Hawksmoor will be in it, and everybody's gonna be like, what the fuck are city powers? But in that comic, city powers are cool. This comic, they just like city powers are what? What is he doing? Because he can like throw buildings at you and shit like that. And Jack Hawksmoor, this guy just, I don't know what the fuck he can do. So yeah. All right. So yeah, what you got?
Did you like this book?
I did. I kind of liked it. It was a fun, easy breezy read. It didn't blow my socks off, but I didn't just hate it, anything like that. It was a fun read for what it was. Like, I watched Batwoman, man. I can read this shit.
I'm just finding out that Greg Pak is half Asian. So
what? You couldn't tell by his name?
No.
You thought he was Scandinavian or something?
I didn't know, man. I just seen him. I just seen him, and I just read. Oh, his mom or his dad was Asian.
Like, well, I mean, wait, have you ever seen a picture of him?
Yeah.
You couldn't tell from the picture?
No, not really. No.
I just thought Asian.
Well, now that I can see it now, but I didn't like. I didn't like look at it. I know it sounds shitty, but now Amadeus Cho's makes a lot more sense to me.
Right. Oh man.
Because I'm a dumbass.
You know, it's funny, you know, I just realized they're kind of doing all this Asian push going around. And who's the head of DC right now? Jim Lee. Nobody ever makes that connection that Jim Lee is Asian and he has an Asian agenda, because when he was the X-Men, Asian X-Men mutants start popping up left and right. Jubilee, Psylocke, and all these other crazy.
He gave us hot Psylocke.
He gave us hot Psylocke because she was a white
British. Bless him.
She was a white British pompous Spice Girl before Jim Lee got on. After that, she was a sexy ninja assassin. Like, how does that happen?
With a lightsaber, yeah.
With a lightsaber. Nobody asked the question. All they know is that she kicks high. That's all we care about. So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So what you got next?
I will do Nightwing number 104.
Okay. I gotta ask, when is this book ended? Because it feels like it served its purpose.
Yeah, well, right, it's kind of like this is basically turning into another Titans book.
Right, and you already have a Titans book, so why do you need I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But this has you know, last time, you know, there's that, what's his name, Huron or whatever, or Necron or whatever the guy's name is. Mm-hmm. He's like a demon guy who, after Blockbuster's daughter's soul, because he sold her soul to the devil and all that shit, but the Titans got her on Themyscira protecting her. But then he did a deal, this Necron, or what the guy's name is, the demon guy, made a deal with basically tempting Nightwing and giving him Superman powers. He's like, hey, I can give you the power you always wanted. I can make you basically Superman. You'll be Super Nightwing. So he does. Here's Super Nightwing. You got all the powers of Superman. You can use them for 2 hours. And that's what this book is. He goes around 2 hours. He races the Flash. He goes to Themyscira, whips a bunch of ass, beats the shit out of Gorilla Grodd and all the fucking demon armies and shit. Goes up and has a one-on-one with Superman, who gives him a pointer about saving the world and how important it is, how fragile the world is, and how delicate human life is, and how we got to protect Earth and life at all costs and all that shit. We see him do all that shit, and then at the end, Necron, or whatever the guy's name is, says, "Hey, okay, so how'd you like those powers? I know you want to use them. All you got to do is just give up this little girl's soul and just think of all the
first hits for free."
Yeah. Just give up this little girl's soul and just think of it's just one little girl's life for all the billions of lives you will save with these powers. And Dick is like, "Nah, that's okay." And then beats the shit out of the demon guy, sends him back to hell, and where all the demons are like, "Damn, man, you keep getting your ass kicked by all these kids. Like, what the fuck?" And then the Wonder Women, the Themyscirans, they end up adopting the little girl. Like, hey, this chick, this little girl's powerful. We're gonna raise her. We're gonna adopt her as one of our own. She's gonna be a badass someday. And they're like, cool. And that's kind of where it ends. I thought it was all right. Like I said, it would be nice to get street level Nightwing back.
Right.
Because this had all the Teen Titans were in it. The Titans were all in this book. But also, I felt it was a little anticlimactic. I thought this was going to be like a new arc. Oh, the Super Nightwing arc.
Right. Cosmic Nightwing, and he go around beating up the biggest bad guys and shit.
Like I thought this would be like it just wrapped up in one issue. Like, okay, yeah, now you don't have the powers anymore. Like,
it would have been. He don't fight Doomsday the next issue, no shit like that.
It would have been cool. Yeah, that would have been cool. It would have been cool to see like what if those 2 hours, like you have to, if you don't make it back here in 2 hours, you're gonna the little girl loses her soul and you're gonna get stuck with the powers. So that could have been like a plot device. Like he had to make a decision. Like somebody's lives. Hey, what's up, fan?
What shoes you got on? You gonna take our shoes?
I don't have any shoes on now.
That sounds like when you about to rob somebody. Like, what shoes you got on? what size are those shoes?
I'm just wearing socks, yo. I'm at home, man. I'm relaxing. It's all in the shoes. But yeah, it would have been a cool plot device to see, like, he had to make a decision. Like, what if he had to make a decision? The 2 hours were almost up, and he could use those powers to save a life or go back and save the girl. You know what I mean? It would have been cool to see that sort of.
Or they could have just had a run with Nightwing had superpowers, just beat the shit out of people.
Yeah,
Because like I said, there was a Spider-Man run. That is my favorite Spider-Man run of all time, when he got the power cosmic out of nowhere, but he didn't know where it came from, and he just went around just beating the shit out of everybody. Juggernaut, Magneto, he punched Hulk into space. It was like what the fuck is Spider-Man doing? He was flying, shooting beams and shit. Like, what the fuck is Spider-Man doing? Like,
yeah,
but they didn't explain it like 5 issues later. But you just like, fuck it, just go with it. Spider-Man can just beat the shit out of everybody now.
Yeah.
Eli socked himself kind of guy.
Fists with my toes, making fists.
Are you shoe shaming, Jacob?
But no, this is okay. I thought it was a little anticlimactic. I think they could have explored Super Wing a little more, and did cooler shit,
Because Nightwing is a Kryptonian animal. He got his name from a story Superman told him.
I
just
believe
trivia for everybody that didn't know.
Do believe remembering that in the Teen Titans. I think when he got rid of Robin, when he stopped being
he got rid of Robin, yeah,
he's choosing his name. Yeah,
he had a talk with Superman. Superman was telling about a story about Nightwing, Kryptonian animal. He like, that sounds cool. I'll be that.
So yeah, I'll give it a 3 out of 5. It'd be nice to see Dick back on the streets, whooping ass on the streets again.
At this point, I almost feel like Tom Tatum to get away from it. because he had these big. Granted, we need another guy. Anybody but Joshua Williamson. Please, for the love of God, DC, hire somebody else. This guy is writing 50 books a week with DC right now. They can't hire anybody else on there. So him and Tom Taylor, that's it. Pretty sure Cinder Block Man got his powers from his shoes. I will take your word for it, Fan Man 6940. Yeah. So what book I got next? Well, book. Okay. We're going to do a book that I feel like you fell off, Eli, so I'm going to pick up and run with it.
Okay.
Green Arrow #2.
Oh, yeah. He's in space.
Green Arrow in space. Yeah. Weird, sure. Not the weirdest thing he's done.
I almost read it, but I'm like, yeah, he's in space.
Like I said, the reason I didn't read the last issue because I knew it was going to drop on DC Universe within a month. And lo and behold, it dropped on DC Universe this week. Issue 1. So quickly read issue 1, got caught up. Issue 2 was out there. Like, when I'm caught up, let me go ahead and read it, see what the fuck going on. So yeah. So here we go. Green Arrow #2. Let's see. Where are we right here? Don't doubt me. There we go. Okay. So the book starts off, like I said, the last issue. And see, the thing is, the book isn't even really about Green Arrow. It's really about the Green Arrow family. You know, because it's really like most of it is just him narrating while the family's doing their whole thing. So basically, I'm gonna just cut through it. It's Roy grabbing a whole bunch of boys. He's Speedy. I know he got a bunch of old funky ass names like that. He is Speedy. I don't care. He loads up. He's about to go get Amanda Waller because he thinks Amanda Waller has his daughter who got teleported away in the last issue. And Black Canary is coming with him, and that's the story. They headed to Bel Rev. So yeah. So
I thought is that the end of the book?
No. It's kind of more shit that happens, but that's pretty much it. They go to Bel Rev to find out what the hell Amanda Waller did with Leanne. Meanwhile, she's not at Bel Rev. She is in space. Somewhere else. Who knows? They don't know. Meet Green Arrow far from home. Like Spider-Man and shit like that. Anyway, he's fighting crime in space. Yeah, Leanne is with them also, and they just doing shit. And he finally finds out the big gangster that's doing all the fucked up crime in space, the head boss and shit like that. Now, it's funny. It's not funny to me. I completely get that the main bad guy is a fat cat. The symbolism is not lost on me. Yeah. You know, just saying that.
That's clever.
That's clever. You know, like I say, he's a fat cat eating off the pores, so like that. He was like Green Arrow. No, at first he thinks he's a Green Lantern. He thinks, I thought we kicked all the Green Lanterns off the planet. Well, fine, I'll pay you off to get you out of here. And then he starts shooting at his feet. I'm not a Green Lantern. I'm Green Arrow. He like, Green Arrow? You mean you all your weapons is sticks? That's it? Like, somebody kill this guy. So he just pays anybody at the bar to take this guy out. And Green Arrow just shoots all his arrows, just takes everybody out like it's nothing. Meanwhile, the chick at the bar is just like, well, why don't you just say that? I'll pay me. I'll take this guy out. And so she fights him, and she got these super claws and shit like that, slashes at him. And Green Arrow can't get the best of it because, like I said, it's close range, so he can't get a good shot on her. So he tried to get the distance. And that's when Leanne, starts shooting at him. And she just slashing away, so they basically take them both out. And she's actually like missing the shots. And I was like, man, didn't your dad teach you how to shoot? They're like, yeah, he taught me how to shoot. So she shoots and hit her with a boxing arrow that she just happened to have on her. And had sleeping gas on it also. So that it's a 1-2 punch. And she's like, I did it, So they basically just talk. And then basically she's just like, why can't we get back home? And Ollie's telling him we can't get back home because there's some force in the DC universe stopping me to get back, to my family, to get back to Roy and Black Canary. And she was like, and that's why we keep hopping from universe to universe. And while they're in the middle of talking, they actually get teleported away to somewhere else. Where? Who knows? We will find out in another issue. Get out of that. And now, cut back to Bel Rev. Other shit happens. We don't care. They go through Bel Rev, fuck everybody up. Yeah. And they find this fat guard and shit like that. I don't think it's Job. I think it's somebody else. It's a random dude. He's like, where is Amanda Waller? And he's like, I don't know. And then you're like, I don't think he can hear you. And Black Leader like, well, maybe he'll hear me if I start screaming, And that's when they hear somebody say, like, hey, you get the fuck away from that guard. And who is it? Oh, I forgot. What's this guy's name? Shit, Vertigo. Count Vertigo, Count Vertigo. He's like, yeah, I know what Amanda Waller is up to. I can tell you if you let me out of here. He's like, hell no, I'm not letting you out of here. And next thing you know, they start getting shot at. And who is shooting at them? Peacemaker. And
shit, he's in there. Huh?
And Lady Peacemaker, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, they call her Peace Wrecker. So yeah, because like I said, Peacemaker is basically Amanda Waller's #1 lapdog. So yeah, Peacemaker versus them. That is the book. Yeah. Written by Joshua Williamson. Because of course it is. Just another Green Lantern book. It's just green. It's just a standard Green Lantern book. I'm sorry, a standard Green Arrow book. He's just in space. That's all. So yeah.
All right. Well, my last book.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, crap. All Eight Eyes, #2.
All right. Let me set the scenario for you. There you go.
This is off of Dark Horse, this horror book, monster creature feature on Dark Horse Comics, about giant spiders eating people in New York City. And this kid teams up with a homeless guy who knows all about it. And they're hunting these giant spiders. And this issue gets a little wordy. There's a lot of talking, a lot of exposition dumps, but the cops are now the cops have now found a giant spider. There's people been ignoring. That's kind of like the point of this. Like, this shit has been going on for 100 years and no one's noticed because these spiders feed off of homeless people. And it's like, they feed on the downtrodden and the outcasts of society that no one pays attention. So no one's noticed. No one's noticed this. But now they found a dead giant spider. So now the Parks and Rec department are kind of getting involved because it happened in Central Park or whatever. And then there's a plot with this politician who's basically going and gentrifying these rundown areas where all these homeless folks live in and kind of gentrifying. So it's got this sort of, the social commentary on gentrification and, moving out the downtrodden in the lower class to so the wealthy can make their profits. So there's got that kind of social commentary going on. And yeah, just how no one misses these people. No one notices these people that are disappearing. And so that's kind of cool. But this issue in particular, this is issue 2. It got a little wordy. It got a little long and drawn out with dialogue. Just a lot of exposition. So it was kind of a slog to read. And as you can see, this is the very last issue or the very last page where they're in a building and they're hunting. Yeah, they're trying to find these. They got word, the homeless guy and that kid got word of some teenagers talking that they saw some big monster in a building in this rundown area. So they go and investigate, and sure enough, there's a giant spider in it. And then it does to be continued. I'm like, that's it? Really? It's finally, but then I don't know. I may or may not get the next issue just because this was such a slog. The first issue was cool out of the gate. So this is I didn't think the break was going to come.
Build up and probably build up going on.
This is I think I can tell that they're building the world. I just thought it was just a lot of talking. So maybe I'll check out the next one. I do like the concept. I do like the idea. I do like these monsters as a metaphor thing going on. I think it's, I do dig the concept, but this issue was a bit of a drag. So I'll give it a 3 out of 5. Damn.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see what Jay got. How long has it been a Lady Peacemaker? This is my first time hearing about a Lady Peacemaker. So if she is a thing, she is a new thing. Because I didn't read the last Suicide Squad run, which Peacemaker was in, where Waller was recruiting people all throughout the multiverse, like Ultraman, other shit like that. And so I don't know. And for all we know, this might be the first time she might have popped up. She might be a very new thing invented by Josh Whedon in this issue. So DC will do that. So yeah.
I can give it a Google real quick.
There you go, Eli. Yeah. I'm sorry, because I'm used to like knowing this shit. So when everybody just hit me with a comic question that I don't know, I'm like, oh shit, I don't know.
Is that her name, Lady Peacemaker?
No, her name is Peace Wrecker. Peace Wrecker. So yeah. All right.
The female Peacemakers, Peace Wrecker. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Is she a thing?
From the DC unveils new Suicide Squad team member, 2 Peacemakers.
Okay,
so the Dark Crisis on it. Okay, yeah.
We didn't read Dark Crisis. We should have read Dark Crisis.
On Infinite, yeah, number 7 by Joshua Williamson. Yeah.
of course he did. Oh man, that's actually the one issue I didn't read. The Dark Crisis issue number 7. So that's why all the crazy shit happened. So yeah. All right. So not American Boy Change. What the hell am I doing? Next book I'm going to do is Action Comics number 1055. Eli, did you read this one?
No, I'm off of the Super Family.
Okay,
book. I'm just reading the main Superman and
Superman
and the John Kent book.
Okay, not the one with Super Dog and Super.
Yeah, I'm not reading the family.
Okay,
the family. Super family.
All about family. All right, so basically, what this book is about is in the last issue, Superman did some anime shit where he turned into like he used his bio force kinetic energy to like beat the shit out of Metallo. Only to learn Metallo is not the bad guy that he's going after. And spoiler for those that haven't read the last issue, the main bad guy is Cyborg Superman. He was revealed the last issue, and now Superman and the family are going after Cyborg Superman. So let's get to it. So the book starts off. They are in A-Town Stomp. And because those evil robots that have been plaguing them for the last 5 issues and shit like that are attacking A-Town, and the super family are going and just fucking them up. And those robots are calling themselves the Necro Hive. That's what they call themselves. And so the super boys are having fun. They're just like, they're basically having a contest of who can smash the most robots and shit. You know, I got one, you took my kill, you know, shit like that. Great kid, don't get cocky, you know, stuff like that. So and that's when they find out that the voice in them is Hank Henshaw. And he's talking to him like, Superman, you finally know it's me, and I'm going to get revenge for murdering my wife. Superman didn't kill his wife. He blames Superman for killing his wife, but I'm not going to get into a story from 30 years ago. It happened. So anyway, Superman blasts him. He's like, okay, Hank Henshaw is basically doing that. But the thing was, we put Hank Henshaw in the Phantom Zone like years ago. How did he get out? You can't escape the Phantom Zone. So, and that's what they do. Basically, like, and Superman thinks he knows how Hank Henshaw got out of the Phantom Zone. Because even though he trapped him in the Phantom Zone, last time he fought Lex Luthor powered up his power suit using something called the Henshaw engine. Basically, he reverse engineered Cyborg Superman and used that to power his suit. What he didn't know is that using Hank Henshaw's like operating system or whatever, it kind of like Bluetooth him from the Phantom Zone to like real world. So that's how he was able to sneak out, because he basically just sneak into his own body. So because he's a technopath, he can just do that shit. So he's just basically out and just rebuild his own body. He was like, Superman, come for me if you can find me, you know. So yes, and he's got Metallo's sister hostage. So meanwhile, at the Fortress of Solitude, Metallo is at the Fortress of Solitude with the super family, teaming up with them. Metallo's one of the good guys now, because Cyborg Superman has his sister, so they have to team up to rescue his sister. So yeah. Meanwhile, Superman's just like, I got an idea on what to do. And Supergirl's like, no, because Supergirl really, she's in like med clothes right now because she got fucked up in like four issues ago. She got like blasted with kryptonite, shit like that, and she's actually still recovering. So she was like, Cal, don't do it. That's a dumbass solution. He's like, you don't even know what I'm about to do. Like, yeah, I do know what you're about to do. Don't do it. He's like, I'm gonna do it anyway. And everybody else on the team like, what are you talking about? There's only one chance we have to find Cyborg Superman. And I hate to do it, but Supergirl, I'm sorry. So he blasts it, and pops out the Eradicator, another blast from the past from the 90s. So the Eradicator is a Kryptonian computer that is designed to keep Krypton pure. So if there's anything outside that like messes with Krypton, Eradicator eradicates them. Think Punisher Superman. That's what he is. So that's basically what he was in the 90s.
He got guns. He got the ones with the guns.
No. He doesn't have guns, but he's got like finger blast shit like that. So if you like rob a bank or like sell weed or some shit like that,
He
he'll just
finger
blast you. Yeah. Yeah. So that's it. So yeah, so Eradicator is there. He's looking at them and he looks at Superboy and he looked like, oh, I can smell the clone on him. Superman, you want me to kill this guy? They're like, no, don't kill him. He's like my uncle, nephew, son clone shit, whatever.
Brother's roommate.
Or that, yeah. We don't know the whole what he calls himself and shit like that. But the point is, he like, look, can you find another clone for me? Because Hank Henshaw basically stole Superman's DNA back in the 90s, and that's how he's half Superman, half robot, because he basically cloned the DNA copy of himself. So he like, so can you find Cyborg Superman? Because he's just a clone of me. He's like, well, I'll try, because I got to make sure there are no evil clones out there, because Krypton actually banned clones on Krypton like centuries ago, like thousands of years ago. So that's why he hates clones. So he like, if I find them, I'm gonna kill them. I'm gonna eradicate them. So he goes there, they look for him, and they're flying. And meanwhile, they left like the other super family, like half of the super family still fighting the robots in A-Town, while the other half of the super family looking for Hank Henshaw. And they're looking, and Metallo like, hey, Superman, your ghost robot think he's found something. And then Superman's about to done like, you shut the fuck up, robot. Speak when spoken. And Superman's just like, you don't talk to people like that. He's trying to, by being a dad, he was like, well, why should we team up with him? He just tried to kill us last issue. You're like, yes, but the thing is, our enemy, and we're basically opposing sides, can sometimes work against the same thing. And sometimes they can work for the same purpose, and sometimes they can be friends. She's like, nah, fuck all that. He tried to kill my brother, So they find out where Hank Henshaw is. Apparently, he's hiding out in an old Luthor airport that Luthor bought like years ago, and he just took it for himself. So they're looking for him, find him, and meanwhile, Metallo is talking to the brother and sister, and he's like, look, I get it. I know why y'all don't like me, because y'all try to protect each other. Y'all remind me of me and my sister. So he tells a story about him and his sister. Now, we knew the story early about how his dad basically gave him his uncle's gun and told him to hide it after he shot his own uncle. But the thing was, he didn't throw the gun away. He hid the gun. And it turns out his dad was beating the shit out of him every night, which he was cool with it until his dad tried to put his hands on his sister. After that, he went and grabbed his uncle's gun from under the bed and emptied the clip in his dad. Damn. Basically. So when he did that, he got put in a boarding school, went to military school, went to the army, military training, all this shit like that, and eventually became a Metallo. He realized that the moment he pulled that trigger, he became a gun. I was like, that's okay. Symbolism. I see what you're doing, And then, what the brother and sister's like, okay, Metallo, you're not a complete piece of shit. Okay, you all right, And he was like, look, I get it. I done some horrible things in my life, but as long as my sister is okay, I'll be fine. I go to jail. I'm going to do my time. And when I get out, who knows? Maybe I can try this good guy shit myself, And that's when they find Hank Henshaw. He's there, and Superboy's just like, damn, you even creepy than last time we saw you, He like, we're here for Metallo's sister. He like, oh, are you now? Okay, here she is. And it turns out she's another Metallo. Yeah. Okay. And she can't control herself. Hank Henshaw's controlling her. And it said she opens her mouth. She's about to like throw up kryptonite at everybody. And next issue, Ex Machina. And some other stories, but I'm not gonna talk about. But yeah, that's it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The super family got to fight Metallo's sister. That's the thing. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Pretty cool story. I'm thinking, I still like the other Superman story better, but I feel like now the reason I'm reading this one, even though I didn't read this, because there's like a Steel story in the back of this. I'm not gonna review it, but it's interesting. He meets up with Mr. Terrific. Mr. Terrific's trying to take over his company. So
Mr. Terrific?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So anything else you got, or
no, the only other book I read was that the Darth Vader book, Black, White, and Red. It's just those
Black, White, Red. I thought that was just a one shot. It's
a continuation of that. Jason Aaron's got a continuation story about the guys hacking into Vader's suit. That was pretty cool. They got Vader strapped in like a gurney and they're trying to hack into his suit, but Vader uses the Force and picks up all these weapons and like these lightsaber.
I never thought of Vader's suit being like a cyborg. I thought it was just like an iron lung. I thought that's all it was.
Yeah. Well, in Jason Aaron's run, there was what was that one villain who designed it? He designed Vader's suit and he could control it. And he like froze Vader, like made Vader basically hacked into his suit and could control Vader and basically made Vader not move, like froze him. And he was sitting there talking all this shit to Vader, before he was about to kill Vader. And then Vader started thinking about Padme. Started feeling about how sad he was, and anger leads to pain and hate. Basically, he started remembering why he's so pissed off, and that his source of the dark side is all
his
the pain.
Hate overcame that. Okay.
Yeah, and then he gets all mad and uses all that negative energy, and then basically gets strong enough to like move on his own, and like stabs the guy and shit.
That bad guy underestimated the power of the dark side.
Of the dark side of Vader's, Vader's fucking, emo fucking breakup shit. But then there was this other story in there where like he fights aliens. Like there's like these fucking like they look like xenomorphs kind of,
yeah,
or kind of like the Outriders from the Avengers. Kind of look like that too. There's these alien monsters, and Vader gets like taken and thrown in a hive, and they pull off his mask and shit. I should have grabbed that. I wonder if I could.
Now you're thinking about it.
I'm thinking about that. I'll post it on the site or tomorrow or something. I'll post it on Outright Geeky or something. It was a cool visual of Vader, all like almost like in an alien hive. They got him all like, stuck in the hive, and they got his mask off and shit, and you can see his, his
just post a scan. Just post a scan. That gets more hits than anything. So
yeah, it was pretty cool. That was fun, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should have reviewed it. I just did review it. 4 out of 5. Fuck it. But I guess next issue, Daniel Warren Johnson has got a story in the next.
Oh, issue. I know you all over that. Yeah.
My dick is all hard ready for that one.
Oh man.
So yeah, I will be reviewing that one.
Cool. Can't wait. Just turn the page with your direction.
Yeah.
All right. Like I said, if you listen this long, different like, share, subscribe. Like I said, if you listen more than 30 minutes, I'm sorry. Yeah, 30 minutes cool, but 30 seconds, we appreciate you because that helps the algorithm. It's all about the algorithm, Shout out to Outright Geekery. Like I said, we go back and forth. They give us shit on their show. We give them shit on their show. It's all love. They want me to talk about why I hate Dr. Pepper so much because it's fucking nasty. That's why I hate it. What do you want? Like a term paper on or some shit like that? Shit. That's all I got to say about that. But yeah, go listen to their podcast, like I said, because like we really talk about comics. That's all they talk about. That's what they do.
They go deep.
They go deep into a lot deeper to us. Yeah. So because every time we try, y'all run away from us. So shit. But yeah, like I said, next week we don't know. We'll talk about something. We'll come back with it. So I don't know.
Flash come out, don't it? Doesn't the Flash come out soon?
2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now. Okay. Even though it's already been released like overseas and shit like that, so the entire movie has already been spoiled for me. So I know everything's gonna happen.
I heard some shit too, and I'm like, really?
I'm not gonna say it, but whatever. I'm just like, really? Okay. But whatever happens. You know what the fucked up part about it said that the projections are going to be kind of low. They said it's not like Ant-Man 3 might outgross this movie like opening weekend.
Oh, that's what they get, man. That's what they get for not casting Grant Austin. What's his name?
Gustin. Grant Gustin.
Gustin.
Yeah. Should have had him. Right. Wouldn't have any problems. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Said it from day one, man.
Hell, the dude that played Green Arrow said it. He was like, "Why the fuck you didn't cast this guy to play for that? Who is this guy?"
Yeah, you already had a fan base. All those motherfuckers. Leroy.
Right, we all watched the show. I watched all 9 seasons. Yeah. So shit. Until then, this is Leroy.
This is Eli.
We'll talk to you guys next week. Same bullet time. Same bullet.